Ahoy everyone and welcome back once more to I Like Watches. Baltany recently sent me a new release and I think this was intended to be the jewel in their crown. Baltany have in a very short period of time established themselves as a very strong AliExpress brand, producing some incredible military and sort of vintage inspired watches. This one though, I mean, it looks good. It looks really good. And on paper, I think it was set to be potentially their best watch. But sadly, there's a problem. Keep watching. I'll tell you what it is. Now, before I explain to you why this watch is only close to being sensational, I want to talk to you about what they got right with this watch, because there really is still a lot to like about this watch. For example, they have used the Miyota 9122. You might be familiar with that movement. I've reviewed a couple of watches with that movement. It is a calendar movement. It's, of course, a 9000 series Miyota movement. Beats at 28,800 beats per hour, hacks and hand winds. It's not a cheap movement. It is, of course, a calendar movement. So yeah, if you're planning to produce a calendar watch, that's not a bad place to start, is it? This watch also has a gorgeous mother of pearl dial. It doesn't look to be coloured or painted or dyed, which some mother of pearl dials are. This one looks to be pretty natural. It's gorgeous, isn't it? Gorgeous. Now, the hands on this watch are definitely worth talking about. The silver hands, yeah, they're nice enough, well proportioned. They suit the watch, don't they? I'm really talking about the other three hands, the blue ones, because, well, they're not painted or dyed blue. They're blue because they've gone through that heat treatment process. These are genuinely blued hands, which is quite unusual for a watch in this price bracket. Two pieces of sapphire crystal, a huge piece of double domed sapphire crystal on the front of the watch, and another piece of sapphire crystal in the display case back. The case, it's 316L stainless steel. It's been very nicely polished. There's some pretty substantial surfaces on this case, and so yeah, they've thought to harden it. It's now got a Vickers rating of 500 HV, so it's going to look this good for perhaps a little bit longer than you were anticipating. Now, Baltany have listed this watch as having a mono pusher function. If you're familiar with the Miyota 9122, you'll know that there is normally a little button at the 2 o'clock on the case, which if you press, it advances the months of the year. That complication at the 3 o'clock. But with this watch, they've added a little lever in the case, and they've added the pusher to the crown. So the crown has a button which, if you press, that in turn presses the lever, which in turn presses the function within the movement. So you don't have that sort of semi-hidden pusher button thing at the 2 o'clock on this case. Very clever. The crown still has two positions. The second position you would use to adjust the time, and the first position you would use to adjust the two other functions, and I'm going to come back to that in a minute. What else is there then to like about this watch? Well, it's come on a very nice strap. The buckle on the strap is branded. It matches the finishing on the case, which is a-okay in my book. It is a pet peeve of mine when that doesn't happen, and they have done that in the past at Baltany. They have offered watches with, let's say, a bead blasted case and then a polished buckle on the strap, and yeah, they don't seem to be doing that anymore, which is brilliant. Screw down case back, pull push crown, 50 meters of water resistance, a metal movement holder, which I know some of you will very much appreciate. And the styling for this type of watch, I think it looks good. I like the numbers on the dial. They are applied, beautifully finished. I mean, the hands seem to be very nicely cut. The print on the dial is really good. The finishing overall seems excellent. The stitching on the strap seems nice and straight. So what's the problem? Well, I'm sure some of you have noticed already. Sadly, Baltany have decided to leave off the days of the month function. So the 9122 comes with 3 hands to tell the time, and then 3 additional complications: a days of the week, a months of the year, and a days of the month complication at the 6 o'clock. And I think, well, I know for sure, I've asked them, they've decided it looked better, more balanced without the days of the month complication at the 6 o'clock. Perhaps it interfered with the 6. Maybe they wanted automatic at the bottom, I don't know, but what a shame. I think this watch would have been complete with that complication on the dial. It just feels like it's missing something, doesn't it? I mean, a calendar watch with a days of the week and a months of the year function or complication on the dial, but then a no days of the month or date of the month function on the dial. It's, yeah, a shame, isn't it, really? I have fed back to them, obviously, and, well... They apologised to me. I don't know why they're apologising to me. It's their watch. Sadly, they've all been made. The dials have been made. I did ask them if it was too late to change it, and sadly it is. Now, that might not put some people off. I know it will definitely put some people off, but it might not put everybody off. And if it isn't a big deal for you, well, there's not a lot else wrong with this watch, to be honest. It is $348 US, though. That is still a pretty penny for this watch, isn't it? I think they're going to have to drop the price quite a bit, to be honest, to sell the watches that they've made. It's not a small oversight, is it really? I mean, the movement has that function for a reason, and that is because most people that want a calendar watch want all those three functions. So I'm gutted for them, to be honest. It is a real shame because this watch, I mean, they've put so much into it. It's clear that they had every intention of this watch being, well, potentially the best watch they've ever made. They've made some incredible watches, mind. Some really nice premium AliExpress watches. But I think this one was set to top them all. Just missing that date complication at the 6 o'clock has, yeah, spoilt it, sadly, I believe. I'm sure you'll agree. What a shame. What a shame. But I have to say they were very, very positive when I fed back to them. They basically said, well, don't worry, we will do better next time. We will learn from this and, yeah, we will move on and try to correct it in the future. I've no doubt they will. I don't suspect they're going to make this watch again with that complication at the 6 o'clock. I suspect they'll sell these watches as they are and move on to different watches. But it is nice when a brand receives that sort of feedback positively instead of, you know, negatively. So credit where credit is due. Baltany, so close to producing a sensational watch, but sadly, yeah, it's flawed, isn't it? Right, guys, let me know what you think of this watch in the comments section. Don't forget, the next big AliExpress sale is fast approaching. Yeah, fingers crossed they'll be discounting this one in that upcoming sale with a decent discount. And yeah, then if you're still interested, you'll be able to pick it up for a decent price. Right, guys? Yeah, as always, a massive thank you from me to you, and thanks for watching.